Hello everyone and welcome to my ever messy art area. This is Keeks and today I was going to go over some purchases I recently made, a little bit of an art haul if you will. But first I wanted to say thank you so much to Dee Dee Willingham. She had sent me this beautiful print in the mail and I absolutely love this. Mushrooms are one of my favorite things ever, so I'm definitely going to probably hang this in my kitchen and it'll be with my other mushrooms. So thank you so much, and this is gorgeous. You are the queen of collage, girl. Like, you are amazing. Thank you. So the other thing I wanted to show you is I finally got the watercolors I really wanted to try, the Kuritakis. So I just got the regular Kuretake, like the smallest one. So I am super excited and I plan to swatch this a little bit later, and then also we're gonna paint with it. So I am just really stoked about this because these look really big and I've heard so many great things about them. I'm just really excited to be able to try out this set. So I wanted to show you guys that. And then also there is another channel on here that I follow that's called Little Amy Arts, and I've really enjoyed watching her videos within the past couple of months. And something that she is always showing on her channel that I got are these awesome pocket palettes. Now I do have the Sarah Renee Clark color cubes, but there's a couple of reasons why I wanted Amy's for Little Amy Arts. And one of the reasons is because I have ADHD and sometimes I can get overstimulated when I have too many options. And I love Sarah Renee Clark's color cubes, don't get me wrong, not dissing them at all, but that's 500 choices of colors. And sometimes I just want a small palette. So on those days where I want to art but I'm feeling overwhelmed, I think this is going to be perfect. The other reason why I think this is going to be perfect is because I will be having a new art space soon, hopefully. And while I'm in transitioning, getting everything over, I think this is going to be perfect to be able to use on the go because I can just toss it in my purse and go, honey, go. So I wanted to go ahead and show it to you. It comes in this really cute case. Very cute. It even comes with a little band to keep your cards together. And then it just has 25 different color themes in it. So I think that these are really well made and they're really beautiful and I can't wait to use them. One of the things I want to be able to do with these is to mix them up so that they're not in order anymore and just be able to choose one off the top, be low hassle, you know, just use it and go. So I am very excited about these. It's not the only thing I ordered from her either. I ordered a lot of things from her. Her shop is really cute. One of the things that she has, and she talks about doing this with her mom, but her and her mother made these little traveling cases, and I think this is going to be perfect, especially like whenever all my art stuff is packed up, so that I can use this on the go. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see it, but check this out. I was looking at it, my Paul Rubens fit right into this pocket. It's perfect. And then check this out, her little pocket art fits in there too. So all I need are some brushes and then I can just roll this up and use it. It doesn't quite roll up quite right with the pockets in here, so that part I might keep in my purse, but it certainly does with the paint in there. So you just like fold it over and roll it up. As soon as I saw that pattern that was on it, it just made me really happy. And then the other thing I think is really cute about it is when you go to tie it, it has this really nice ribbon, but it also has these like little flowers on them. So I think that this is really well made, and I don't know if you can tell, but this is thick. This is like dual lined fabric. So if like something spills, it's gonna probably protect your brushes and your paint. So I am very excited to use this. So thank you so much. And she included such a nice note. It was really cool. So whenever I opened this up, I was actually super shocked because there was little gifts in here. So she gave me some art paper, and these are pretty heavy, so I could watercolor on these. And there's different like textures to them, different sizes, and they were hand torn, which is really cool. And then she gave me these cute little stickers too, that I can definitely use in like collage or whatever I want, really. So I was really ecstatic about that. And then the other thing, yes, I bought another thing from her because I liked her shop so much. It's cute, guys. It's cute. You gotta go see it. But the other thing that I got was she actually hand makes her own journals, and I love Janet Young. As you know, she has helped me out a lot in my watercolor journey, and she has like this awesome travel journal. So I got this because I was inspired by her, and originally I wanted to do all 50 states in a book, but I saw this book and I was like, maybe I should do a world one too, because this book is fabulous. Like, look at this. And then it was really cool because when Amy sent this to me, which her name's actually Amber, Amy is just what her channel is called, but when Amber sent me these, she actually sent me these nice little deli sheets to put in between my pages so pages don't stick together depending on what mediums I use, which is really cool. And then the other thing is it actually has like a bookmark in it, which I don't want to show you the art just yet. Hold on a second. Here we go. So it has this cute like compass bookmark in it. And then it also has a wrap, so you can wrap it all together like this and then store it, which I love that. It's so cute. And she said that she actually learned how to make these using Denise Love's methods, which I have wanted to do one of her classes on Skillshare. I have not yet, but this I think is pretty much going to encourage me to like look at how cool this looks and like look at how well bound this is. Like, there's different textures of paper in here. I counted there's 46 sheets of paper in here, which is awesome. I like to number my pages, and look, there's different types of papers, which I think is really cool too, because you can experiment with them. Like, I am so excited to use these. Plus, I see her use them in her own videos all the time, which is great. So I feel like I have a better idea of what they can take. And I actually had started a page in here. I started with Australia because I really loved how the cover was Australia. So I was like, I have to start with Australia. So in it, I tried to draw Australia. Don't make fun of me. I'm so sorry. I know it doesn't really look like Australia. And then I've got the golden waffle flower, which is their flower, their national flower. I've got the emu, I've got a kangaroo, I've got a huntsman spider, because you know I gotta have a spider in there. And then I've got a koala, and then I've got the Sydney Opera House. And I was thinking here in a bit, what we could do is we can actually watercolor this, and just kind of test the paper out and see, you know, what we think about it. But seriously, Amber, you did an amazing job with this. Like, it's really rare on Etsy that, I mean, you do get gifts on Etsy, but the sheer amount that you gave me, like that nice parchment paper you gave me is literally the same paper that's in these books. So it's really nice, high quality paper. And really everything was personally wrapped. Like, each item was actually wrapped like a Christmas present in a way, except like with pretty florals. And I can just tell that you have a lot of love in your shop and that you truly love the things that you make. So thanks for, you know, being so kind. Like the card you sent me, like, I just feel like this was all really, really nice. And especially like the deli sheets, you didn't have to do that, but I really appreciated that. So thank you so much. And I would definitely encourage people to buy from her shop. She is pretty awesome, guys. Like, I even, originally I was just going to buy the pocket palettes, and I was like, you know what? I need to buy this book too. And she actually removed the shipping on one of them because I did that, and I didn't even ask her to. So I just think that she's a really cool, genuine person, and I would highly recommend buying from her. So anyway, let's get to artin'. So what I thought we could do is I thought we could take these puppies for a spin, and see what we think about them. So I want to swatch them first, and then I thought we could do our Australia with them. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this to the side for right now. Give me just a second here to prepare, as they say. And then I'm going to go ahead and zoom out a little bit here. And I've got my swatch book, because you know me, I love my swatch book. It's like one of the big things I use for every single thing I do. So I'm going to go ahead and move it to a blank page. And I think I have some blank pages that aren't actually like touching anything in here. So do I want to do it after there, or do I want to do it like here? There's a little bit of transfer here, so I don't know that I want to do it on those pages. Yeah, I think we'll just go ahead and start a new page here. So make sure, oh, yep, I skipped some pages. Okay, so we'll start it here, and we're gonna put Kuretake. is it Kurotake? It says it here. Let's see. Koretake. Okay. Koretake. And this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 colors. At the moment, it escapes me what this exact one is called. So whenever I go to make this video, I'll just link it. It's the one that has all the natural colors in it though. So I'm just gonna go like that. And what we'll do is we'll try to make it kind of like how it is in here. So let me go ahead and grab that. I don't know that I need this plastic thing, but we'll set it to the side just in case. Never know. Never know. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do it in 4s here so that I can actually see what's going on here. So let's see here. Let's switch some stuff around so I can see what I'm writing here. Give me one moment and I will go ahead and take care of this off camera. That way you guys don't have to sit here and watch me write down names of colors. So one moment. Alrighty, so I've got everything labeled the way that it is on here. So it does have a number beside them. It does say the name of the color, and then it also says it in French. So I'm gonna go ahead and start swatching these. So the first one is number 404, which is saffron yellow. And I'm not gonna say the French things because you guys don't want to hear me speak in French. It's not pleasant because I haven't really spoken in French since middle school, so we'll not try that. This is the saffron yellow, so it's a very beautiful yellow, I think. Let's zoom in a little bit here so you can see it. There we go. Next is green gold, and I will say not much water is needed for these so far, so let's try that. Ooh, it's a nice color. Flax beige is next. I like how simple this is too. One of my main questions would be, why are the colors so out of order? You know, you bounce around from the 400s to like the 16s. I would be curious about that. But otherwise, this is a very pretty palette. Ecru beige is next. Oh yeah, I barely dropped the water on that and it reacted. Ooh, that would be nice for skin tones. Both of these honestly would. Nice, okay. So we've got pale pink. It's a nice color. Coral pink, which I usually love corals, so I'm excited to see this one. Ooh, I like that. That's like, it reminds me of a lipstick in a way, like one of those lipsticks from the early 90s, late 80s. We got Potter's pink. Vermilion. I like that red. There's something cool about that. I can see like flowers in that red. This one's called Alizarin Crimson. I'm not really sure if I'm pronouncing that one right. Ooh, but I like that color. I do not in any way think that that's a crimson, but I love it. I like those pinks. Next, we've got Mauve Taupe, I think. So this is like almost like a lavendery taupe. It's pretty. And then you've got Old Mauve, which appears to just be like a purple, like a lilac-y purple. Yeah, it's pretty. We've got grayish blue. Okay, yeah. To me, this reminds me of a lighter shade of Payne's Gray in a way, because you could definitely see the blue in there. Next is Cobalt Turquoise Light. It's a nice, interesting color. Kind of reminds me of like turquoise jewelry in a way. Which I suppose that's a good thing. It is called turquoise. Next we have Pale Agua. Or Pale Aqua, excuse me. Went Spanish there for a second. Okay. And then we've got Cobalt Green next. Ooh, I like that. That's more of a jade green to me. I like that a lot. Billiards green. Yeah, okay, that does remind me of the felt on top of a billiards table. Which, if you don't know what a billiards table is, it just is simply a pool table. Next we have Shadow Green. So this is like a dark, kind of deep green. I almost put that in the wrong spot. I'd have been a little sad if I would have messed up my swatch paper. Like, I've gotten so far. All right, next is Pea Green. Okay. It does kind of remind me of the peas, like if you, I don't know if any of you have children, but like I had to like make baby food for a little bit, or at least we chose to. And that kind of is definitely what it looks like when you liquefy it. So yeah, this one's Ivy Green. It's a nice shade. Then we've got Green Gray. I'm curious to see the difference between this one and the Shadow Green. Okay, so this is like a really deep foresty green. Then we've got Beige Gray. Yellow Brown. Mars Yellow, which is more of a rust to me. Yep, that's more of a rusty color, or like the color of like ramen when you get it super spicy. We're gonna call it the spicy ramen. And then we've got lastly is Venetian Red. Which is just like a really pretty, it looks like a chocolatey brown. Nice. All right. So that's a really pretty color palette. It's definitely a different one than I have ever used before. Oh no, I just realized I left that marker lid open. Hopefully it didn't dry out. So I'm really excited to get on in there and paint. And what I was thinking about painting is actually in my new here. I thought maybe that would be really cool to go in here and color in what I made. So I think that would be just a little fun project, and you guys will be able to watch me in the process of that. So sit back, relax, and I will get on coloring for you. So now I'm doing a voiceover, and this will probably become normal until we move into our new space. It's really hard because right now Mason, my husband, is actually in a different city. So I am, taking care of my son. So this allows me to be able to, go off camera, do what I need to do, and then come back. So a lot of the times when you're seeing these sped up versions, it's actually taken me several, I would say, sessions to be able to get something painted. Like, none of this is actually happening all at once. I would say during this painting, I probably got up and down at least 5 or 6 times, and there was even a brief pause until the next day for whenever I finished it. So, it does take a while for me to be able to finish these. So I do apologize if you're not really a voiceover kind of person, or if you're not really a sped up person. Like I said, once we get to our new space, most likely I will be able to go back to doing regular videos where everything is in sequence with each other and where I'm not having to do voiceovers. But this is what I'm able to do for right now, which is pretty nice. So like I said before, this is the first time that I'm ever using the Kuretake paints, and I will say they are quite a bit different than the other watercolors that I've used before. Like, for example, with the Paul Rubens, I feel like it's really smooth and they just kind of glide over the paper and you can really play with the water and stuff. Whereas with these, what I was noticing is they are very vibrant, number one, but also I noticed that it seems like these are thicker, so I don't know if it's just my paints or if they're supposed to be like that, but they definitely have a different feel to them, and it'll take some getting used to, I think, which I don't mind. I'll definitely be practicing with these more, probably after we move, but I definitely enjoyed trying painting with them as we go. Now, something I'm going to probably do later on in the video, which I haven't gotten there yet to recording it, is I probably will go back over everything that I paint with colored pencil, especially the flowers, because what I was noticing with the flowers is I wasn't able to get them as yellow as I normally would, because this is kind of a darker, like, yellow ochre. So I probably will just kind of give them a bit of a highlight, because the actual plant is super, super bright. So I want to make sure that I can get that brightness in there. Another thing that I really liked about these Kuretake paints is that they were pretty true to color, I feel like. Whenever I swatched them to, like, whenever I painted with them, I didn't feel like I needed to look at the swatches as much as I do with some other types of colors, because they were pretty similar to what they showed. And I think part of it is because the case that they're in allows for you to see more of that color, whereas like with Paul Rubens, for example, you get a tiny little square, so sometimes it's really hard for your eyes to differentiate those colors. But with these Kuretakes, because it's in like a bigger 10, you can actually see what those colors are. And like I said, it stayed pretty true to color. I don't really think that I noticed that many differences. The ivy green, I think, wasn't as dark as I originally thought it was whenever I swatched it. Sorry, that was my dog, Rowena. She's like cleaning herself and just coughed. That was probably gross. Sorry. But I do think that they were pretty true to color, and I think they were pretty easy to use. Like, I definitely like them. One thing I think would be kind of fun to try these with is maybe in a coloring book. Because a lot of people did say that, one of the reasons they stayed away from these paints is they thought they were for kids because they were really advertised towards like anime and stuff like that. Well, that doesn't deter me. I like anime, so I don't really mind that kind of thing, but I do think it would be really fun to use these colors to paint a face. And I do have, I'll have to look up her name, but I do have some circle portraits in a coloring book that I could definitely try on a future video, and I think that would be really fun to kind of play with these colors, because a lot of them are really makeup-y colors, especially those reds and pink colors, and even really the lilac purples. I just really feel like these colors would go really, really well with people, and I think that the colors could be really subtle if applied correctly, which, as a noob, I don't know if I can apply it correctly, but I'll sure try. So I definitely would like to do something like that in a future video. One thing that I was kind of struggling with whenever I painted this is something that happens very often with me, unfortunately. I kept dipping my hands in the paint on accident, but luckily, whenever I applied the ground color, I was able to cover it a lot because I did smear the kangaroo and I did smear the emu a bit. But whenever I used that brown to color around them, it ended up hiding it. And the same thing with the spider. I did smear the spider a little bit, but because I was kind of gentle when I was painting, I was able to cover that up, but it did goob the paint on there a bit with where the wood is on that branch. So I do think it will look a lot better with some colored pencil. That way I can go back in there and make sure that those legs are really showing. I really, really love that red. Like that red, that vermilion red is such a pretty color. Like it's like a poppy red. And I would love to do some flowers with that red. Like maybe it would be fun to use my pocket palette and see if there's any reds like that. And then maybe do a abstract watercolor with it, like some abstract watercolor flowers. I know in that abstract watercolor book that I have, it has some really cool abstracty looking flowers, so I just think that that would be a really beautiful color to play with. And you know, I was really worried because I knew that I was going to be using greens on Australia, and I was worried it would kind of look Christmassy, but honestly I don't think it did, and I feel like all the colors that I wanted to use ended up working together really nicely. So I'm definitely not mad about that at all. Also, in using my Little Amy Arts art book, the pages were phenomenal. Like they really took the water. There was no buckling whatsoever, which I've never used paper that doesn't buckle before. So this definitely felt like a special little book to be, to be using. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. Even when I was drawing on it, it's definitely a thick, I'm not sure what it is, maybe cotton, but, you know, it definitely held its own really well. I didn't see any of the problems I've had with other books. Some of the books that have thicker pages that I use are actually from Amazon, and it's like an Amazon journal book. And those I feel like would be okay to watercolor in, but the problem I was having with those papers is they would bead under the water, and this book does not do that. So I'm very happy to know that this book doesn't have materials beading off of it, because, you know, that's really distracting, number one, and number two, you're like, am I just running this journal? But no, none of that happened, so this is a very well-made journal, and I definitely stand by the idea that, you know, if you are interested in a really good journal, definitely check out her Etsy shop, and it's just Little Amy Arts. And that's the name of both her YouTube channel and her Etsy shop, so she kept it pretty easy. But I would definitely say that this is a really good high quality paper. All in all, I think I had a lot of fun with this, and I'm not sure, now having done this, I would like to keep it a travel journal if I can, but I also just really want to paint in this book. It makes me want to buy another one is what it wants me to do, because now I'm like, ooh, I like watercoloring in this. This is like the best paper I've ever watercolored with. I want to color in this. So what I might do is I might take those 3 pieces of paper that she gave me that were also part of the type of paper that was used in this book, and I'll probably just use that to have some fun with some watercolors, because man, this just makes me want to use it for more than just a travel journal, and I really ended up loving playing with this. I did decide to have a little bit of fun with the colors, and I did try to do a little bit of shading with the watercolors, just to kind of see what it would end up looking like. And one of my favorite things I did is I added, like, whenever I went to add like ears to the koala, I was like, oh my god, what if I can add some cheeks to everybody, just to make everybody look like super happy. So I'm kind of excited to see how that dries, and I even added little cheeks to the spider, which I thought was really funny. I have no idea if that'll turn out good or not, but I just wanted to have just a little bit of fun and, you know, just make this kind of like a cute journal. Even though it has like kind of a serious subject matter to it. One of the other things I want to add to it is somewhere in my pen pal stuff, which I've already packed, I actually have some stamps that are Australia, and so I think it would be really fun to put an Australian stamp on this page. So I definitely want to do that. And eventually, whenever I do France and China, I have plenty of different ones for those too. So I definitely think that these will end up looking really cool. And I feel like as time goes on, I can, still stick things to these pages, and kind of zhush them up in any way that I can. And I add a little bit of foliage just to make everything look a little bit more natural. But yeah, I definitely had a lot of fun with the painting parts of this journal. All right, so it has been overnight and everything has been left to dry. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually use some of my colored pencils to color in, just to give it a little bit more details, especially right in here, I think. So let me go ahead and grab those. And for the colored pencils that I use, I always use the Prismacolors. So those are the ones that you're going to see me using. And then I also have some Ultra Pluses mixed in here, which are just kind of like an off-brand. Sometimes I tend to find other colors in the Ultra Plus that seem to work a little bit better for whatever reason. Are closer to the colors that I'm thinking of. So I'm going to try a Tuscan Red in here on the spider and see if we can bring those legs back in here. Yeah, there we go. Just bringing them back. And it kind of gives a cool rusty look too. So the cheeks on the spider didn't quite work. It just made it look like it had a pair of glowing eyes. So I'm just gonna kind of color that in a little bit. And then what we'll do is we'll probably use a Posca and just do some little dots and that'll be fine. So there we go. That gives us a little bit of color and texture to that spider. So it looks a little bit better because those puppies are big. And then let's see here. This little chair over here is at the table. Let's put this on top of. Got a lot of moving stuff around here. There are a lot of stuff that I'm moving around here. Getting prepared for everything. I think it'll be just a week or two and I should be in a brand new setup, which will be really good. Just gonna add a little bit of brown back in here. So what happened here is if I zoom in a bit, you can kind of see this is actually where some of the blue watercolor accidentally came into the brown. And it doesn't honestly look bad, but I just want to kind of pull it back a little bit so that it's more of a brown color. Because this is supposed to be a brown kangaroo. Okay, and then I'm just gonna do a little bit of color in here. And then, like I said, I wanted to add just some like little lines in here because I like what this did, but I want to kind of rough it up a bit because it's supposed to be like, they're feathers, but they're like rough looking feathers. So I think that little bit of texture is gonna pull pretty good. And then I'll just color in this little beaky beak because that needs to be a dark color. Okay, and then I wanted to lighten that up a little bit. So let's see here. I'm gonna need a bright yellow. Let's try. This is called, Jaune Citron Lemon Yellow. Okay, so lemon yellow and saffron yellow, that could work together. So I'm just gonna kind of go in a circle here and just try to lighten these up a bit more so that they're more yellow than anything. It's working a little bit. It's also kind of giving it a weird texture. So I'm noticing that this is actually, these watercolors are kind of hard to use pencil over. It's interesting because the color is not doing what I normally see it do over watercolors. It's not like getting as bright as I would like it to be. So I might actually end up needing to brighten that up with maybe a Posca pen, and that could be okay. So let's go ahead, and I wanted to add a little bit of shading over here too. So I'm just gonna get a light brown. And this is a sienna brown. And I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of shadow, just like a little hint of it. Not much, just a little bit. There we go. Since this paper is textured, it's kind of doing a really cool, like, textury thing right now, which I'm okay with. So just kind of doing that a little bit. Maybe just a little bit of texture by where the waves are. Not much, just a scotch. There we go. I think that looks a lot better. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those Poscas out because that's really all I wanted to do with those. So let's see here. I've got a white Posca. Let me just add some eyes to my spider real quick. Okay, so now it's got some cute little eyes, and I'm just gonna re-whiten the dots of the eyes of these creatures. So do like a bit of a bright yellow, or I mean bright white there. Let's see what we can do about these. Sort of. It is making it yellower, so that's good. So I think this was too dark is what was going on here. I'd really like it to be more yellow. So for the most part, I want to keep this as a travel journal, but like I said, I really enjoy how easy this paper was to use. Because a lot of the times I will get like Amazon journals, and by Amazon journals, let me grab one. Whenever I'm talking about Amazon journals that I'm comparing these to, I am talking about like these. And these are great, like they have thick paper and stuff, but the problem is when you get them wet, they bead sometimes. And by that, I mean that stuff will rub off, stickers peel up all the time on it. It's just a very rough paper to use, whereas this paper seems to handle the water a lot better. I haven't noticed any problems. In fact, I bet if I go over to the other side, you'll barely see a wrinkle. So like if I flip it, you can't even tell that I painted on that. And I was definitely using quite a bit of water. So I would say that this paper is very, very good. The last little thing is I was thinking about using some colored pencil just to add some like blue around here for the sea. So let's do a darker blue. I'm gonna go with violet blue. And I'm just gonna give like hints of blue in here. Not gonna go too crazy with it. And then, like I said, whenever I find my stamps, after we move and stuff, I want to put an Australian stamp up here, I think. And I think that's gonna look really good. I'm trying to be a little light because I want to still be able to see, because unfortunately I can't see what I wrote over there. So I'll have to go back over it with like a white Posca later and rewrite what I had written in there. Just can't see it anymore. So we'll do that color there and then maybe mix it with a lighter blue. Let's go with Blue Lake, and I'll give it like a nice oceany brightness to it. Yeah. So I definitely like the textures that I'm picking up on this paper. Very nice paper. I believe she said in one of her videos that this might be a handmade paper, so she might have made this paper herself, Amber or Amy. But yeah, whatever it is, I really like it. Yeah. So I think that looks nice. It's kind of giving me map vibes. So at this, we have now come to a close here. So I just wanted to zoom in a little bit so you can see all the little details, and I'll lift it up so you can see both pages. But this is the start of my travel journal. So if you have stuck with me this long, thank you so much for watching, and I really do appreciate you. And I will see you next time. Bye.